everybody, I am Heather Briggs of My So Quilty Life. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you are here. Today I'm talking all about Flower Shop Block of the Month, and we're on month 1, and today we are making block 2 for a block 2 Flower Shop Block of the Month tutorial. I'm so excited to show you block 2 and watch it come together, but first I just wanted to take a moment to look at the quilt, the beautiful Flower Shop quilt done in my fabric Dainty Meadow, and show you where the block is for block 2, and then we'll get started on the tutorial. Okay, I'm gonna go to my top camera and we're gonna look at the quilt. Okay, so let's open up this beautiful quilt. Oh, perfect, we're right here. So the block that we are making today is in the little storefront window here, and this is the block. So they're little flowers with these cute little pots on the left side. I just love it. It's so adorable. So stinking cute. So this one has 3 leaves, it's a little taller, and this one has 2 leaves and it is smaller. I'm so excited to make this block. Are you ready to get started? Okay, I went ahead and cut out all of my pieces and used the cute little alphabet markers that are in your main hub. I cut them out and I used them on my design board to organize all of my pieces. I love to stay organized and I love using a design board with little alphabet markers to do so. For this tutorial, you will need your block pattern for month 1. We're going to be making block 2 and we're starting on page 4. So go ahead and turn to page 4 and we will get started. As you can see, I've already gone ahead and made a couple of the units, but I left a couple of units undone so I can walk you through how they are done. So I'm going to go ahead and move my design board to the side. So we're going to go ahead and get started with step 1. And step 1 in all my patterns, you know, I'm having you draw a diagonal line on the back of all your fabric squares for your stitch and flip units. Now, I no longer do that because I use diagonal seam tape. I talk about this all the time. It is by Cluck Cluck Sew, and I love having this on my machine. All I do is line up the red line with my corner on the diagonal, and I just sew down. So if you've never used this, click the link in the description to check this out. I love it, and it lasts a long time. I really don't have to change it much. But if you don't do that, go ahead and draw your diagonal line on the back of your fabric squares listed in step 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and move to step 2. So for step 2, we're just making our Q unit. These are the little flower petals that you see on the flowers. So what we need is fabric Q square, and we need 2 fabric P squares. All we're doing here is super simple, just like in the last tutorial in block 1, but this time we're assembling one side first, pressing, and then assembling the next side. And you will see that in the pattern under the step. So all we're going to do first is assemble on the left side. You're then going to press towards fabric P. Once that's finished, you're then going to assemble your other fabric P, but you're going to be pressing towards fabric Q squares. That is so that when you're putting both of your Q units together, those seams are nested for you and you don't have a lot of bulk when you are pressing. So I've gone ahead and done that, and here I have my Q unit. So as you can see, one was pressed in towards fabric Q and one was pressed out towards fabric P. Now, you're gonna do this for all of the petals, and as you can see here, I've already made all of them, and then I've already gone ahead and went to the next step so that I could be a little bit farther ahead. So for step 3, we are just assembling 2 of our Q units together. Super simple, and then you are pressing open. Now you want to make sure that when you do nest your seams, you want to make sure that you have a perfect point right there. So just pay close attention to that point when you are assembling these units. Now once you assemble them, you will press open, and then you need to make sure that you trim all the little bits that are extra hanging off and just square up those units. So I'm gonna go ahead and assemble my Q unit and then assemble the 2 Q units together, and when I return, I'm gonna show you how to put this together. Okay, I just got done putting my 2 Q units together, like in step 3, to make a petal unit. So you're gonna have 4, but really quick, I just wanted to make sure that you are aware, when you are making your Q units, right here, you will not have a 1/4 inch seam from this point to the top. That is so that when you assemble your next piece, it'll cut that point off, and that is intentional. Okay, so now that I have these, I'm going to set them aside and we're going to move on to step 4. So for step 4, we are making this middle unit right here of the flower. It's called our S unit. And we need an S square and we need 4 matching R squares. And this is easy peasy. We are just aligning all of our R squares in the corners of fabric S, assembling on our diagonal line and pressing in towards fabric S. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and when I get back we're going to put this flower unit together. Okay, I just finished my S unit for step 4, and now we're going to move on to step 5 where we're going to make the entire flower unit. So what we need is 4 fabric G squares. We need our S unit and we need our petal units, and all we're doing here is laying it out just like the diagram shows here. Just like this. We're first going to assemble our fabric G's to a petal unit, these two to a petal unit, and then both of the petal units to our S unit. We're then going to assemble this top piece and this bottom piece. And what you're going to have is a cute little flower unit. So this is exactly what it'll look like. Now, what I want you to pay attention when you are making this is you want to make sure that you nest those seams. I have you pressing in opposite directions, so just pay close attention to those pressing arrows that I have shown in the diagrams to make sure that your seams will nest. So right here and here, all 4 of these corners, they shall nest. So this is what it will look like when you finish the flower unit. I'm going to go ahead and assemble this one, and when I get back, we will start on step 6. Okay, I wanted to pause for just a second to show you a little tip that I like to do. So what I like to do in order to nest these seams right here is I go ahead and line it up. Now I could, because my pieces align pretty darn good, I could just go ahead and start assembling down with my 1/4 inch seam. But what I like to do first is I like to get this nested right here, take a peek at it. So that looks pretty darn good. I will then put a couple stitches, like 3 or 4 stitches in that. Then I will get this one perfectly nested and do the same, put 3 or 4 stitches there. I will then give it a little tug just to make sure it's all flat, and then I will assemble down with my 1/4 inch seam going over those stitches exactly where I sewed previously. And then when I press it open, it is good to go. Everything is nested. That is something I always do now in all my blocks to find the best accuracy for me. I hope that tip helps you. Okay, I just finished my flower unit, so now I have both of my little flower units finished and I'm ready to move on to the next step. I'm gonna push that to the side and we're gonna start on step 6. So for step 6, I've already gone ahead and made my 2 light green T units. I have my LT and my RT. But I made sure that I left my darker green to show with you. So you will notice that the darker green stem has 3 leaves, so 3 fabric tees. Now what you're going to do is you're going to set these up. We have 1 LT and 2 RTs. Now we need fabric M, and all we're going to do is lay them out according to the diagram. Just like this. Just like this. So this is what it should look like. Again, I've already made the other 2 light green. You should have 2 light green and 3 dark green. Now you will have 3 total RT units, so 1, 2, 3, and 2 total LT units, 1 and 2. So I just don't want to confuse you too much since I've already made those. So I'm going to go ahead and make my T units, and when I get back, we're going to be putting together the stem units. Okay, so I just got done with my T units. I'm going to lay them back out so I don't get confused. So here we go. So now we're going to move on to step 7. Now step 7 I already assembled. This is your small stem unit. Now all you're going to do is take 1 RT and 1 LT, assemble 2 fabric L's to the LT, 1 fabric E to the RT, and then assemble those 2 pieces to the U, which is that green stem. Super simple, goes together very easily, but now we're going to move on to the larger stem unit, so the big stem unit, which is step 8. So for step 8, we need those T units that we have remaining. We need a fabric V And we need 1 fabric F, 1 fabric C, and you're going to go ahead and lay them out as shown here, and 1 fabric K, and then 1 fabric O right here at the bottom. So you will notice in the pattern I have some black arrows, and you've seen them this whole time. They represent pressing direction as well as assembly. So we've got a couple things to do here. So if you look at what your first step is, you're going to be assembling fabric F to your LT, and then assembling your fabric C right here to that. Then you're going to be assembling your fabric K to the RT, and then your other RT to fabric K, and then finally fabric O to the bottom. Once you have assembled and pressed those, you're going to assemble both of those to our fabric V. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble this unit, and when I get back, we'll move on to step 9. Okay, so here is my big stem unit. It's looking great. Okay, so we're about to start on the little pots now. So we're going to move on to step 9. Step 9, we are just making this adorable little pot. How cute is that? So small. This adorable little pot. So what we're going to do first is take our fabric W with 2 fabric P's, and on the bottom, just like I've shown you here, we are just assembling those on the bottom corner on our diagonal line. Now moving on to step 10, we're just adding that little top accent piece. So we're just assembling fabric X to the top. So I'm going to set those aside because I'm going to show you the same thing we are doing for step 11 and 12. So we're just using our fabric Y, which is a bigger size, as you can see, a bigger pot. And we are just assembling our 2 fabric M to the bottom of that one. And then for step 12, we are just assembling our fabric Z to the top. So I'm going to go ahead and make this one, and then we are going to start putting this block all together. Okay, so here is my small pot. So now I have 2 small pots and then 1 big pot. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move on to the next step. So for the next step, step 13, we need our big pot, and we need 1 fabric J. All we're doing is assembling our fabric J to the left side of our big pot unit. So I'm going to go ahead and set that aside because now we're going to also make our top pot unit. So we need to assemble our 2 little pots with fabric B on the left side. So first you're going to assemble both of the pots just like this, and then assemble your fabric B to that left side. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and when I get back we'll move on to step 15. Okay, so now we have our bottom pot unit and our top pot unit, and now we're going to put them together. So for step 15 we need our units, and we're going to put them just like this. Just like this. And then we need 1 fabric I, and we're going to be assembling that on the right. And then we need 1 fabric A. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to assemble our pot units together with our 1/4 inch seam. We're then going to assemble our fabric I to the right side of that. And then we're going to assemble our fabric A to the top. I'm going to move on to the next step and show you what to do next. For step 16, we're going to be putting our middle flower unit together. And this is super simple. You are just assembling this big stem unit to one of the flower units. And then on step 17, you're assembling a small stem unit, 1 flower unit, and fabric D rectangle. So first you're going to assemble fabric D to the top, and then assemble your small stem. So I'm going to go ahead and do those 3 steps, and when I get back, we're going to be putting this block together. Okay, I just finished sewing all of these adorable little units. Now we're going to put the block together. Okay, so we're going to move to step 18, and right now we just need our right flower unit and our middle flower unit. And what we're going to do is assemble 2 fabric ends to the right of both of those units. Right here. And right here. After we've assembled these, we are going to assemble our pot unit to the left, and then assemble our fabric H to the top to complete the block. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and when I get back, we're going to have a finished block. Okay, are you ready to see my final block too? Here it is. It turned out so beautiful. I just love it. Look how cute those little pots are. Oh my goodness. That might be my favorite part. I really love the little pots. They're so cute. Okay, so there's only a couple more things left to do here. We can use our little block 2 marker to put our block 2 up there so we can keep track of this block and we know exactly which one it is. We can also go ahead and mark off block 2 on our progress tracker. I hope you enjoyed making this block as much as I did. I know you're going to have such an amazing time with this block of the month. Each month you're going to be so impressed with yourself and your skills and how you've been able to challenge yourself to make these beautiful blocks, and before you know it, you will have a finished Flower Shop quilt. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and be sure to post below if you enjoyed making block 2. Don't forget to share your progress using the hashtag Flower Shop BOM on social media, and don't forget to tag me so I can see it and share it. I can't wait to bring you blocks 3 and 4 next month for month 2 of the Flower Stand block of the month. I hope you have a fabulous quilty weekend. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.